Hi, good evening. We are Group 4 and we will be presenting on Chapter 10, The Tools of Quality. Our group members are Carissa Pascal, Makeda Pascal, Janelle Hills, and myself, Mohan Baldeo. The system of quality is a series of interconnected variables and relationships within an organization and is built around the company's vision and its strategies. These are crafted by the company's human resources through innovation and creativity. Now, the objective of improving the system of quality is to bring satisfaction to the customers, since the profitability of the organization would be dependent on the number of customers they are able to retain. This diagram shows the integration between the elements of the organization, such as the people, their processes, information and finance, and the relationship with their customers, and how these elements are brought together through quality planning, quality assurance, and quality control to effect customer service satisfaction and bring about added value. Karu Ishikawa wanted to set the highest standards for quality improvement within an organization. He was internationally known for his work on quality management. He urged managers to see beyond the quality of a product and try to implement company-wide quality control. This meant that organizations should extend service across the company itself in all levels of management, and even beyond the company to the everyday lives of all involved who were implementing quality management. Karu Ishikawa Basic 7 Tools of Quality can be used in any order. These range from process maps, check sheets, histograms, scatter plots, control charts, cause and effect diagrams, and Pareto analysis. This flowchart maps the process to be improved. This is the early stage. Data is collected by using check sheets and is analyzed using either histograms, scatter plots, or control charts. The root problem associated with the process is identified using a cause and effect diagram. This is also known as a fishbone diagram. The causes are prioritized using Pareto analysis. This is the final stage. Process maps helps one with visualization of the process. By creating a map of the process, one can determine the boundaries to which the process should be improved by tracing through the flow of its work. As a management tool, it helps communicate the process to others and guide specific areas of focus. The 6 symbols indicated on a slide you can find in a sample process map flow. The diamond represents a decision, the parallelogram represents an input and output, the arrow represents a flow line, the rectangle represents processing, the small rectangular long arrow represents start or stop, and the circle represents a page connector. This diagram represents an extended process mapping of a supply chain. It is an example of a SIPOC flowchart. This shows the relationship between suppliers, inputs, processes, outputs, and customers. The diagram is used when there is ambiguity as to identifying who your customers are, where specifications for inputs exist, and for clarifying customer requirements.
Check sheets are data gathering tools that are used to form histograms. They are either tabular, computer-based, or thematic. Characteristics of check sheets are: 1. Identify common defects occurring in the process. Draw a table with common defects in the left column and time period across the top of the columns. The user of the check sheet then places check marks on the sheet whenever the defect is encountered. This check sheet is used by the workers to monitor how well they are adhering to the new procedures. This takes place over the work week, Monday to Friday. The problem types are setup routines not standardized, missing equipment for setup, failure to separate internal and external tasks, extensive machine resetting, and paper change. Other. Histograms graphically represent data in a bar format. They are used for continuous numerical data and used to observe the shape of data. There are rules for developing histograms. They are: the width of the bars must be consistent. Class widths are the same where each bar contains a single class. The classes must be mutually exclusive and all-inclusive, or collective exhaustive. A good rule of thumb for the number of classes is given by the model. This example is from the Big City Cafeteria. The manager randomly selects 40 sales register receipts. The following table is in dollars. So in order for us to calculate the mean, we find the total sum, which is 168 divided by 40, or mean is 4.20. Our maximum value is 8.95. The minimum value is 0.79. We take 0.79 from 0.8 from 8.95, and we get a difference of 8.16. We're going to use the formula K greater than or equal to log 40 over log 2, and the answer is K greater than or equal to 5.32. So our number of classes is 6. Our class width is determined by 8.16 divided by 6. So this is what our histogram looks like. Our sales occur in a skewed distribution with a mean of $4.20. Scatter diagrams are also called scatter plot. They examine the relationships between variables and are sometimes used to identify indicator variables in organization. This example shows where a company wishes to study the relationship between absenteeism and the number of overtime hours worked by employees. Control chart determines whether a process will produce a product or service with consistent measurable properties. Ishikawa diagrams, also known as the cause and effect diagram or fishbone diagram. It helps in getting to the root cause of a problem through 1. Stating the problem clearly, 2. Identifying major causes of the problem, 3. Through a series of questions reaches the root cause of the problem, 4. Identifies core causes of the problem, 5. Addresses the problem by setting new goals. Pareto charts are used to identify and prioritize problems to be solved. They are actually frequency charts adapted by Italian economist Joseph Duran. 80% of the problems are created by roughly 20% of the causes. The rules for constructing Pareto charts: select information based on types or classification of defects that occur as a result of a process. For example, different types of defects that occur in a semiconductor. Data collected must be classified into categories. A frequency chart is constructed showing the number of occurrences in descending order. The steps used in Pareto analysis include: 1. Gather categorical data relating to quality problems. 2. A frequency chart of the data must be drawn. And 3. When solving the problem, first to focus on the tallest bars in the frequency. So we see the example here is the example of the photocopier used in the office for the Pareto chart.
The 7 new tools for improvement. The 7 new tools focuses on group processes and decision making. The N7 tools were developed as a result of research effort by a committee of Japanese Society for Quality Control Techniques. The 7 new tools for improvement are as follows: 1. The affinity diagram. 2. Interrelationship digraph. 3. Matrix diagram. 4. Tree diagram. 5. Prioritization matrices. 6. process decision progress, and 7. The activity network diagram.
When it comes to solving problems in quality management, there are a few useful tools while doing so. So first off, I'll be discussing the affinity diagram, and this diagram organizes large number of ideas, opinions into their natural relationships by generating it within a short time frame. This diagram helps organize ideas into natural groups by creating processes that requires a lot of brainstorming and silence. The end result is a logical layout of ideas, and all team members' skills are used. So here is an illustration which shows a table with an issue statement with note cards with ideas for brainstorming. So the interrelationship diagram is another quality management tool that is used to solve problems. Interrelationship diagram shows cause and effect relationships and help analyze the links between different aspects in complicated situations. This diagram shows the relationship between different issues in an interrelationship diagram. Next we have tree diagrams, and it is quite similar to a work breakdown structure diagram. And the tree diagram is used to figure out all the various tasks that must be undertaken to achieve a given objective. Another thing with the tree diagram is that it is used when looking for the root cause of a problem. After the affinity diagram has uncovered key issues as a communication tool to explain details to others. Here is a diagram with the tree diagrams, and the top box states the major issues followed by the sub issues and then the topics, and then to the bottom we see other minor tasks. Prioritization grid. A prioritization grid is useful for systematically comparing each member of a set of options against each other one, and also making decisions. Basically, decisions are made based on multiple criteria. The activities are broken down by getting the most important one down first. The prioritization grid works on assignments and projects used in situations where you have access to limited resources like money, people, and time. The matrix diagram, also called the matrix chart, shows the relationship between two or more groups of information. The matrix diagram helps prioritize tasks or issues in ways that help decision making. It also identifies the connection points between large groups of characteristics, functions, tasks, or it shows the ranking or priority of an interaction. So here is a diagram with the matrix diagram here, and as you can see we have from people needed, options, and then a total, and basically it uses symbols. So here we have high, prime responsibility, which is the two with the circle inside a circle here, as you can see. Then we have medium, secondary responsibility, and then we have kept informed, which is the triangles, which is low. So we have high, medium, and low. Process decision program chart, which is used to identify what may go wrong in a plan that is under development. By using the process decision program chart, the plan can be revised To avoid problems, or when a problem occurs, the best response is available to resolve the issue. So when do we use PDPC? We use this when the price of failure is high. We use before implementing a plan, mostly when the plan is large and complex. And 3, when the plan must be completed on schedule. So here is an example of process decision program chart. And basically it is broken down into a hierarchy using a tree diagram. The process decision program chart simply extends the chart a couple of levels to identify risks and countermeasures for the bottom level task, as this diagram here. And lastly, activity network diagram, also known as the PERT, Program Evaluation Review Technique, or the critical path. It is a network diagram that visually represents network architecture, which uses different symbols and line connections to map out the structure of the network. To determine how long a project will take, a critical path needs to be done, which is the longest sequence of activities in the network diagram. This here is an activity network diagram with nodes and times. The times are given in days, as we can see here.
N7 tools are useful for managing long projects which involve teams. The B7 and N7 tools help to manage many projects, and they have also been used successfully in many settings and for many different purposes. The Plan, Do, Check, Act PDCA cycle gives companies an easier way to solve unstructured problems. It is a very useful tool when used in teams. The B7 and N7 tools are very effective for managers as it helps them to reduce unproductive meeting time to a minimum and make good fact-based decisions. There are 3 other tools which can be used to communicate performance to employees. These are 1. Spider charts, 2. Balance scoreboards, and 3. Dashboards. Spider charts represent multiple metrics simultaneously into 2-dimensional planes. The next slide shows that a firm has not met their performance goals in metrics A, B, D, and E. Since both planes do not meet at these points, metric C represents that a firm has met their goal, and metric F shows that a firm has exceeded the goal. This spider chart, as discussed before, shows the outline of both planes, goal and occurrence. It clearly identifies which points have met or have exceeded and have fallen short of achieving their goals. Balance scorecard is a very important tool for measuring performance, which are usually spreadsheets that are communicated to management on a weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually basis. The usefulness of the balance scorecard comes from the integration of financial measures of business success, such as key metrics, along with non-financial, operational information about the business, such as customer satisfaction and process performance measures. Dashboards look like electric meters or car dashboard gauges. Each gauge shows different metrics. The dashboard in the following slide quickly communicates performance levels.
In summary of Chapter 10, the tools of quality, we know that not all organizations are the same, some being more unique to others. The tools of quality can be used to fit into the various cultures of these organizations to help improve quality nonetheless. Management must be the ones to instill these tools to bring about the change it needs to achieve. Employees at all organizational levels must be willing to work together with management in following through with procedures and processes from beginning to end to achieve company-wide quality management.